welcome back. Well, today I am joined by John Pearlstone, who is here to give us a third mutual update. Well, John, thank you for joining us. I think this is the first time that we've had you on, isn't it?
I believe it is. Thanks for having me, Lisa. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. So Third just had their meeting this week. Why don't we start with, just an overall view of how that meeting went?
Okay. I think the biggest drama of the meeting yesterday was that we had our officers in the boardroom. So that was the first time we had seen the boardroom for several months. So it was a little bit of a cultural adjustment, I guess you call it. But the meeting went well. The plans that we've been trying to adjust since this whole pandemic thing arrived have been going smoothly as much as can be, with all the questionable stuff that we have to keep track of. But we've made several adjustments to slow some services down while maintaining key services, and the finances are coming in line with that. So far so good. Everybody seems pretty happy.
That's excellent. Let's start off with one thing that I guess people have a lot of questions about is chargeable services. What are some updates to those?
Well, I think it was 2 years ago now, Third offered our staff to come to residents' units and help with various day-to-day problems. And we do that pretty much at our cost, so it's way less costly than hiring your own plumber or electrician, and incredibly popular. A lot of residents take advantage of it. With the pandemic, we've had to put a stop to it until we get a procedure that keeps people safe and allows for that to all happen in an orderly way. And I am just wanting to report to everybody that that is coming. We don't have a firm date on it, but I did get a note from the head of our maintenance construction department saying that they are putting their procedures together to make sure there's proper PPE. It's some sort of equipment, right? Do you know what PPE? I know it. I forgot it, whatever it stands for. But anyway,
Yeah, it's the PPE. It's everything that they use in the hospital. So they've got a covering, gloves. Yeah.
Right. So they have to have that. And they need to have I don't think they need an official approval from Orange County, but they're trying to get guidelines, as we've done in almost everything, to make sure that we're in line with what the county and to a larger extent the state is doing. And then we'll start offering it. But the final comment was that it would be worthwhile for any resident that has need for chargeable services, that isn't an emergency but wants to get something looked at, to go ahead and they can go online, they can put the ticket in now, and they actually are forming a queue. So whenever they open this up, it'll be first come, first serve that are in that queue. So that might be useful for residents who are thinking about it to jump on that now, and then whenever it opens up, they'll be earlier in line.
Oh, that's great. I think that's very helpful. So that, like you said, gets them in the queue. That's excellent. Okay,
Right.
excellent. And then, budget planning, is it going to be a little harder now, given the fact that we've had some services canceled and you're going to start up some other services?
I wouldn't say harder, in the sense that we've got to be a little more thorough and make sure that we prioritize very carefully, because what we don't know is what we don't know. We don't know what unexpected expenses, when things are ramping back up, or there are additional procedures for cleaning and sanitizing that are now going to cost us a bunch of money, and we want to be prepared for that. So we did, and I mean, I'm not trying to correct you at all. I just want to make sure, because sometimes people hear these words and they get all panicky. Nothing's been canceled per se. There's been things that have been delayed because we could afford to move them down the road. Painting, for example, we're still painting. We're just delaying services until a later time when it makes more sense to start up again. And anything that falls behind, we'll be adding to next year's budget to make sure it gets back on track. And anything that's essential, we're doing it as we speak, and have continued to do it to the best of our staff's ability. And things seem to be going quite well. We had very few comments. There are some concerns from residents. We hear them all, but we really had very few comments at our meeting yesterday about anything that's gotten completely out of control because of the pandemic. So that's encouraging that we're keeping up.
Yeah, I think everybody's been pretty patient overall. We've been doing this now for about 12 plus weeks. And some people are, I really want to get this fixed or this done. I think they're just going, you know what, let's take safety first. So I'm happy to hear that not too many people are complaining about anything in particular.
Right. No. Overall, it's been very well understood and received. And at least I hope our residents know who are following us that we hear that they want this stuff and we're trying to get it back on track as quickly as we can.
Right, great. And then, trying to maintain and decide what would be essential and not essential to bring back. What are some projects or things that you think down the road are things you're going to look at first?
Well, I think the issues like, and these were not ones that were fully canceled because we do hold them in that level of priority, but our dry rot repair for some of the buildings that had deferred maintenance before we became self-managed, with VMS, and we've been very aggressive, have an annual program. So that'll probably get some high attention as we start to ramp things back up. But we're still doing the most critical ones right now. The waistline remediation, which is a personal project that I believe is of utmost importance. We use an outside vendor for it, and so we've had to slow that down. Everyone knows that we want to get that up and running and maybe even expand as quickly as possible. And then possibly the most interesting one, because I really think the residents will want to know, it was based on their feedback, is landscaping. We kept that going. There was actually some discussion of how that can be defined as essential services. There was some communication to make sure we were doing that in line with what people were recommending. And, overall, especially our slopes, most of the village just looks great. There's a few areas that have fallen a little behind, but they're working and they're trying to keep up. And, many organizations kind of just put all that aside. And we do respect our residents' tremendous interest, beyond my wildest imagination, how much people really appreciate our landscape. And we hear you, and we're definitely doing what we can to keep it updated. And as going to next year, we hope to even improve it.
That's amazing. And they really do love their surroundings. But what's so interesting is that we haven't really been utilizing our surroundings to what we were doing before. And I think flowers look great. I mean, the grass probably looks better because we're not walking all over everything, right?
Air feels a little cleaner. Everything kind of, feels a little better when you come out of the hole after a couple months.
It's true. I just saw somebody posted something on Instagram, and the buffalo in Catalina are on the beach instead of up high. So, I mean, it's crazy when you just kind of give everything a break,
Yeah. No,
well,
absolutely.
That's great updates. Is there anything else that I missed?
No, I think those were the main things that, I did check around with our board to say, what's the latest? We have a lot of residents who, are interested because there's always a lot of planning and things going on, but now with things a bit stalled in terms of performance, I shared that at the meeting yesterday. I'll say it again. Very dynamic board. The Third Mutual board is a bunch of really quality people. And our landscape chair, Lynn Jarrett, is doing a lot of work to kind of say, we can't jump on it right now, but what are we going to do when we get back up and running? And the streetlight project that people knew a lot about, that was years in the making. That's actually still going on. We're almost done with it. So maintenance construction's doing what they can do. I'm spending a lot of time working on our annual insurance review because there's some industry problems due to wildfires that we're trying to make sure we get the best rate we can because we don't have the same level of risk in some ways. We're trying to negotiate that. So everybody is doing their thing to make sure that we come out of this financially stronger and certainly ready to deal with whatever comes up, as we move forward.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. And one of these days, we're going to have you in the studio.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you very much.
All right, John. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
And we'll be right back after this.